Have you ever wondered how an heir to Italy's foremost business dynasty became known as the country's ultimate playboy? Notorious for faking his kidnapping and living a flamboyant lifestyle. In today's episode, we delve into the life of a prodigious heir and how his actions impacted Italy's most famous old money dynasty. Meet Lapo Elkann, the 46-year-old son of Countess Margherita Agnelli de Parlen and American-born Italian writer Lapo Elkann. Despite his privileged upbringing, Lapo's early days were marred by personal struggles that tarnished the Agnelli's prestigious name and earned him the bad boy tag. But who exactly is the Agnelli family, often considered Italy's most significant modern aristocracy? The Agnellis are not like any other Italian aristocratic family. They are sometimes described in the US world as the Kennedys of Italy for their role in the country's contemporary history and their activity of patronage in modern art and sports. The Agnelli family's vast wealth and influence began with Giovanni Agnelli, who founded Fiat in 1899. The family has diverse business interests and a legacy that cuts across all strata of industries. The family's wealth comes mainly from their ownership of Fiat Motor Company, which has become Italy's largest automobile manufacturer. In addition, the Agnellis has cemented itself as an industry leader with shrewd investments in Ferrari and Alfa Romeo and the acquisition of Chrysler Motor Company as far back as the 1960s. They are also the major investor in Italian football, having owned the Juventus Football Club since 1923. The Agnelli family has a deep-rooted family history that dates back to the 1860s, when the marriage of Edoardo Agnelli and Anicetta Frisetti produced Giovanni Agnelli. Giovanni was an Italian businessman who seized the opportunity to be born in Turin's financial environment and come of age on the eve of industrialization. In July 1899, Giovanni Agnelli and some of his friends founded the Fiat Motor Company, and he paid $400 for his share of the business. Seeing the motor company's success, Giovanni began purchasing more shares to gain firm ownership and clear any potential future problems for his oldest son, Edoardo, who was then prepared to succeed him as the company's managing director. When Giovanni died in 1945, Edoardo assumed the director position at Fiat Motor Company. Edoardo Agnelli had 7 children, and his first son, Gianni, later became the principal family shareholder and the major player that made Fiat the most important company in Italy and one of the major car builders in the world. Gianni Agnelli revolutionized the Fiat car manufacturing business and increased the company's car production from a meager 500 hatchback production to well over 1.4 million vehicles per year since 1992. Although the company had to deal with some sort of turmoil and revenue loss due to the increasing number of restructurings going on, Gianni's tenacity eventually guided the company to profitability during the period. However, by the time of Gianni's death in 2003, he had ensured the family business was controlled under 3 separate holding companies. Before that, in 1997, Gianni announced that his grandson, John Elkann, would be his successor and head of the family business. Curious how an Elkann came into the Agnelli family, Lapo became part of the Agnelli dynasty through his mother, Margherita Agnelli de Parlen, who married Italian novelist and journalist Lapo Elkann. Margherita is Gianni's daughter and the sole child of the foremost industrialist. She received an estimated inheritance of $2 billion from her father's wealth. Margherita's marriage to Lapo Elkann produced John, Lapo, and Ginevra Elkann. The eldest son, John, inherited the Fiat company, representing 4.4% of Italy's GDP. However, the spotlight has always been on his younger brother, Lapo Elkann, who was forced to leave the family company in 2005 due to a series of scandals and controversies surrounding his lifestyle. Born on October 7, 1977, in New York, Lapo Elkann was slightly dyslexic and far behind in his formative years, despite being exposed to the world of luxury at a young age. Due to these deficits, he has always loved to be different and prove people wrong. Can Lapo Elkann do as he likes despite being an Agnelli? Well, Lapo marched to the beat of his drum, often clashing with the family's traditional values. Lapo graduated from the Lycée et Collège Victor Duruy in Paris and the European Business School in London with a degree in international relations. After graduating, he served in the Alpini Corps as a soldier in the Alpine Brigade Torinense. Following family tradition, Lapo humbly started his career as a metal worker on the Piaggio assembly line. Afterwards, he worked as a personal assistant to Henry Kissinger before working as a marketing associate at Ferrari and Maserati. In 2002, Lapo Elkann returned to Fiat to assume the company's marketing director role, where he promoted the company image and carried out a series of promos. He ventured into the creative business and founded the independent Idea Creative Agency in 2007. The possibility characterizes the company offered to the buyer to customize the product, more like a print-on-demand company, which was the moment's rage back then. Just like you right now, most people were curious why he did that when he had a business empire at his fingertips. The interesting backstory that prompted Lapo's wave of business establishment started in 2005 when he was asked to leave the Agnelli family business Fiat after he was caught embroiled in the wave of cocaine and heroin addiction. Not only that, Lapo also exudes a series of flirting allegations that various magazines have reported widely. His flirtatious lifestyle is most prominent in his relationships with actress Martina Stella, socialite Bianca Brandolini Dada, businesswoman Goga Ashkenazi, actress Juju, and gallerist Carlotta Loverini Botta. These attitudes are unbecoming of reputable old money and a family that has prized itself as the jewel of Italian dynasties. Did Lapo Elkann suddenly become a bad boy of the Agnelli family, or did some streaks of incidents make him one? No, he just didn't turn into a wild child overnight. Lapo Elkann's rebellious tendency was attributed to his tough formative years. He confirmed in one of his interviews that he was subjected to a series of physical and sexual abuse when he was just 13. In addition, he suffered from an attention deficit, which could be attributed to the expansive and busy nature of an old money family. To most members of the Agnelli family, Lapo Elkann was known for his flamboyant and unconventional lifestyle, which was far from the family's moral standard. Most significantly, Lapo's love for show-off, cars, and the occasional show of wealth made him a celebrity figure in Italy. Amidst all the show-offs, Lapo has messy mental health, most especially his experience with the death of his best friend in college, who passed through the same turbulent fate as him. As a member of an old family such as the Agnellis, I know some vices should never be attributed to you. These are prostitution, drug abuse, cocaine addiction, and all other vices. Lapo Elkann engaged in all of these vices to the point that they were featured in the headlines of the major newspapers in Italy and abroad. One of the most scandalous moments came in October 2005, when Lapo was found unconscious in the apartment of a well-known transsexual prostitute following heavy cocaine use. After a police investigation into the cause, it was established that the cause of the collapse was heavy cocaine use and soliciting prostitution. But you know, the media people are not to be trusted. During the investigation, Fabrizio Corona, a foremost Italian photographer, captured the moment and intended to blackmail the Agnelli family with the evidence. The family had to negotiate with Corona and douse the tensions before it hit the front page. Given the tension these incidents caused the family, one would think Lapo would sheath his sword and never engage in such an illicit act. That's not the case with the prodigious Lapo Elkann, who was reported by a Hollywood Reporter and other United States news outlets to have been arrested in New York after his engagement in a drug and sex party in Manhattan. Another funny and embarrassing incident was when Lapo Elkann faked his kidnapping and contacted his family to pay a ransom of $10,000 for his release. The gale of the atrocities is so gory and excessive for the family, to the point tabloids regard Lapo Elkann as the wild child of the Agnelli family. But one thing you can't take away from an old money family is the bond and never-give-up attitude enshrined in their psyche. During this turbulent period, the Agnelli family never gave up on Lapo, and their door was always open for him. The bet on Lapo eventually paid off when he reinvented himself as a global entrepreneur and the face of the Agnelli family once more. It's not a straight knee-jerk reaction like you are imagining. Lapo didn't just wake up one day and decide enough is enough. He won't be a wild child who faffs around anymore. His path to redemption involved extensive rehabilitation and a journey of self-discovery following his near-death experiences. Lapo Elkann has reinvented himself and found his calling in various business ventures, including car designs, eyeglasses, watches, and most importantly, his love for public relations. As a passionate advocate for personalization, Lapo co-founded Italia Independent, a company known for its bespoke products. This company has collaborated with luxurious brands like Ferrari, Maserati, and others to allow its customers to personalize their new cars in ways that rarely occurred to them. Lapo has also collaborated with Gucci's Frida Giannini for a special edition of the Fiat 500, a high-octane brand conspiracy that doesn't happen every day, and certainly would have been beyond Fiat a few years ago. Lapo has etched his name in the hearts of many people who see him through the prism of his professional life and not for his playboy lifestyle. Lapo Elkann and the Agnelli family are testaments to resilience and a support system that has sustained the family for a long time. The Agnelli family's support system has likely played a role in Elkann's recovery. This emphasizes the value of family in overcoming difficulties. Also, we must find a way to write off the importance of a second chance, which is deeply enshrined in most old money families. Despite many setbacks, the door of opportunities from his family wasn't shut at Lapo, which gave him the possibility of redemption and a fresh start. So if you face similar challenges and struggles, it is essential to understand the importance of resilience and remember the human capacity to overcome challenges and get back on track. I hope this video inspires and cautions you, allowing you to understand the complexities of the human experience. Please give this video a thumbs up and smash the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever we post fascinating stories from the world of high society and beyond.